dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Business Insider. I'm your host for tonight, Mohammed Abdelrahim. And as we are in the final hours of 2025, and we will welcome 2026 very shortly. Here in this episode, we will look back at the performance of the Egyptian economy in 2025 and the aspirations for 2026. Aspirations focused on science, education, focused on tourism, on industry, on the Suez Canal, aspirations that we share with our beautiful continent, Africa. And we will be doing that in the company of our dear guest with us here in the studio, Dr. Amr Hilal, former member of the National Drug Committee. Dr. Hilal is an economic and developmental expert. He's a professor of pharmacy and former lecturer at Cairo University. Dr. Hilal, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year for you and for the audience and all the Egyptians.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hilal, for being with us here. As we always do in the program, and this will not change in 2026. Dr. Hilal, dear viewers, allow us to watch a report first about the topic of the program, and then when we come back, we will start our discussion.
Said Egypt's economy is expected to grow by more than 5% in the current fiscal year 2025-2026, which ends in June 2026, driven by private sector activity and the impact of economic reforms. Speaking at a meeting with military attaché ahead of overseas postings, El-Mashad said Egypt's economic growth has been accelerating since July 2024, led by productive sectors including industry, tourism, and information and communications technology, which she described as largely private sector driven. She explained that industry and tourism account for the bulk of private investment, citing manufacturing sectors such as automotive production, chemicals, textiles, garments, and household appliances. The minister added that the tourism sector is almost entirely privately run at 98%. Minister El-Mashad said the rise in industrial output has boosted exports while tourism is approaching pre-crisis highs. Egypt is expected to receive nearly 90 million visitors this year, she said, with tourism nights reaching record levels in the final quarter of the previous fiscal year. She also pointed to signs of recovery in the Suez Canal revenues in the quarter ending September after sharp declines caused by regional instability. Looking ahead, Minister El-Mashad said the government is targeting growth of up to 7% to support job creation, citing international assessments that credit recent reforms with restoring macroeconomic stability. She described 2026 as a key inflation point for the economy, supported by fiscal and monetary adjustments, structural reforms, and continued investment in infrastructure, particularly ports and logistics zones, alongside higher productivity sectors such as industry, tourism, technology, and construction. She noted that nearly 48% of public investments in the fiscal year 2025-2026 plan are directed towards human development sectors, while the National Structural Reforms Program, implemented in coordination with more than 40 national entities, includes over 430 measures covering taxation, trade, public investment, governance, social protection, labor markets, renewable energy innovation, and industrial competitiveness. According to the minister, Egypt has secured $9.5 billion in concessional budget support for 2023-2026 through partnerships with international institutions, UN agencies, and the private sector. It has also attracted $17 billion in private sector financing since 2020.
Thank you, dear viewers, for staying with us. Many thanks to Abir Hussein and Rasha Abdelhamid for this report. And we're back here with Dr. Amr Hilal, the economic and developmental expert. Dr. Hilal, so before we talk about the aspirations for 2026, what's your opinion on the performance of the Egyptian economy in 2025?
Everybody, first, thank you for inviting me here. And,
thank you, sir.
We are very short to come to 2026. So let us be optimistic. And there are a number of reasons why we should be optimistic. Maybe our dreams are bigger than this optimism, but let us just remember in the end of 2024 what we were planning or dreaming in 2025. We have to admit that during 2025 a lot of advancement happened. Even the political situation was very, very hard to Egypt. So if you have this harsh situation economically and you passed it, then we have to congratulate those who are responsible for this. So again, we are now at the end of 2025. If we look back for 1 year, and we all remember and we all know the number of hurdles that we passed politically and economically, and we have now proved that we are going right. And this is not just words, this is the certification by the Monetary Fund and the international banks. Though we have these certificates, still we don't have, or I wish we will have the national pride of Egypt when we don't borrow any money from abroad.
Okay, since you mentioned that, Dr. Hillel, and allow me to say, so we had good growth numbers in 2025. We had a stabilization of the Egyptian pound against foreign currencies in a free market, and the inflation came down. All of these are positives, right? But I mean, the point you mentioned, the debt, the overall debt, the external debt, the inner debt, still at big numbers, still a big challenge, and eating up much of the budget, much of the state budget.
Exactly, yes. And there are a number of ways to pay these debts. One of them is to sell something that we have. One of them is to find a well of gas or oil. One of them is to find an ore of gold. All of these are okay. But let us see and remember how Japan make this jump, how Singapore make this jump, how Hong Kong make these jumps. They hadn't find wells of oils there. There are other ways, not just to pay your debts, but to be, I wish and I hope and I believe that Egypt can be one of the superpowers. So to find a well or gold will not make you a superpower. We have in neighboring countries who have a very big amount of oil wells, but they are not superpowers. Egypt can be that one. So let us dream by the beginning of the 2026, we are on the right road to be a superpower.
And to embark on that road, we have to depend on science, right? On a methodological way, on education, and this is your view, right? Please share it with us.
Let us assume that we have 5 pillars of what I am talking about. One of them is science, and I mean by science is the production and development of products or systems or whatever it is that is innovative and bring money to the country. Let us, everybody knows the platform, international platform, where their budget and annual turnover by hundreds of billions.
Right.
Why shouldn't Egypt have something like that to cover African trade? Why shouldn't we have the same for Egypt to cover Arabian trade? I am not talking about this can happen in one day or another, but I'm talking about to develop such a platform. This needs science to make it. Let us dream that we have developed engines, developed a drug. We should have something. What I am asking from the scientists, the Egyptian scientists, is to know that or this is what I really believe, is science is a real driver for progress. If we look to all other countries, even the states, the major power is science that develop even airplanes, develop weapons, develop drugs. These are science. If the Egyptian scientists prove their ability to do that, then they will have much more political support and much more money to be pumped to develop more and more. But they have to prove themselves first.
Right. So other than, maybe because this is your area of specialty, the pharmaceuticals, so other than the pharmaceuticals industry, where you think that we can produce more and export more and focus on the Arab and African spheres, what other sectors you think we can have an innovative added value production in?
Can we have a platform for trade all over Africa? This is IT science. Can we have a developed beverage like the common one, of the carbonated one? We are talking about a very, very big and a huge business. Egypt has the mind and the scientists that can do that. But up till now, they are scattered efforts. So I wish, and I really believe that if science is making, if the scientists know that the pride of Egypt is related very much to their success in developing products. I don't mean by products from a drug, for example, or any product that return very high income to the country. That will be nice. And the examples are a lot. I don't want to mention
across several industries.
Several industries. If we are talking about electric car, let us do it. We are talking about platform, let us do it. We are talking about agriculture products, let us develop more and more. If we think about a country like Holland, their area is that very, very much limited. But now,
and that would need more spending on scientific research, I assume.
With the spending we have right now, let us do a progress. And if we succeed, this will attract more money to come to Egypt.
Okay. You believe that education should be a key driver in for the economy. How's that, sir, exactly? And I know you have a Japan background because you took your PhD from that leading country in education, technology, and many, many other things.
I was lucky for the following. First, I have the education in public school. So I have a good publication in public school. I don't know, some years ago from now, I have the education of Faculty of Pharmacy. It is a public government. And when I went to Japan, I was doing excellent research as the Japanese themselves. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the PhD. Not myself only, but all the Egyptian candidates for PhD or master that went there have this. This comes, or let me say, the experience that I had in Japan. I have my two daughters. One of them was just 7 years, and when she went to the school, it was fascinating that all education in Japan is unified education. We don't find a Japanese education, American education, French education, German education. This is not the case in Japan at all. It is one system, the same material. And I would say, give you another very nice example for education. I'm talking about education for, this is the core of investment in human, in Egyptian human. We should invest in the Egyptian humans. The Egyptian youth and children are the future, real future of Egypt. In Japan, there is no second language until the end of preparatory school.
Yeah.
Not the first 6 years, not the
very interesting, very interesting.
They are building the character of the students themselves.
The identity.
The identity and the culture. It is not just that they are giving them math, they are giving them science, they are building the character. And you may wonder as well, in these schools, all the neighborhood have the same education, regardless of their income. This is the way I have my education myself. It differs that those of less fortune are paying this, and the high fortune are paying 10 times. My point is that what is for education, I believe that the unified education will build the Egyptian character, and they should be educated with the culture.
So you're basically calling for a complete overhaul of the educational system here, and this, of course, this is a very respected point of view, but this will take time. This will take lots of time. That's one thing. The second thing, again, if the debt and the interest that you pay for your debt are taking so much of your state budget, how are you going to find enough money to spend on all of the other stuff, including, of course, education and health, and they should come as a priority. And we've heard the government say that they will be the priority.
As I started my thoughts of today, we are looking to be a superpower country. You cannot be a superpower country in just 1 or 2 or 5 years. So you have to do something that, like the ones that we are talking.
Drastic. Yeah. But this is out of box thinking.
Yes, but you have to do something that will ensure that you will reach the position that Egypt deserves to be. One of it is to be for education. And let us just give you exact example. Compare the income of foreign currency coming to Egypt from Suez Canal and from the money transfer of the Egyptians that are working outside.
Of course, the remittances are much bigger.
At least 4 times. So this gives us a hint about the wealth that we have, and if we educate them well, and I am not talking about, again, education just for math and science, I'm talking about a culture education, to let them pride of their country, to believe in their country.
Well, of course, Egyptian expats are a backbone, really. They've become a backbone for the economy.
So now let us go to what we can achieve in the coming 2 or 3 years and bring a lot of money to Egypt.
So, Dr. Hilal, the Suez Canal has suffered a lot in the past year and more due to the insecurity in the Red Sea and the Israeli genocide war on Gaza and the Houthi attacks and so on. But the situation is improving and hopefully will continue to improve without much problems in the Horn of Africa that Israel is trying to cause by recognizing the so-called Somaliland and others. What are you looking for from the Suez Canal economic zone and from the Suez Canal? Because, I mean, we as Egyptians want to see bigger revenues, of course, naturally, from this key route for international trade.
Our ancestor, our grandfather, dig the canal, and we are making benefit out of it. But this is maybe 1/100 of the income that we can have. This is not my idea. I'm just saying that what we should do to be much bigger than Jabal Ali at Emirates. What makes us not doing the same? Jabal Ali, are they having a better situation? Of course not. Are they have a better people at the Emirates? Of course not. Now let us go to another place like Hong Kong. Why we are not the same income and the same profit coming to our country? Let us mix between policy and economy. Now we know that China is investing a lot, Russia is investing a lot in the Suez Canal economic zone.
Yes.
Any problem that will come in this area, you will find China and Russia are very aggressive in defending it. But still, I am very confident and optimistic about the role of Egypt in Africa. So if this role is expressed in manufacturing in this economic area for the export to Africa, that will be a very big advancement. We are talking about basic industry. Let us focus on the basic one. One of them is the car industry, it's okay. One of them is the food industry, and we have a very good examples for what we are talking about, that some of the industries at the Suez Canal area found its way to Africa. But still, we need more and more. And to need more and more, I think this is a political decision to let us jump and have a very definite goal. At year, for example, 2030, we will be like Jabal Ali. We will be like Taiwan. We will be like Hong Kong. We have the fantastic place, fantastic people to do business, and I think the gut and the will of the political leadership to jump by Egypt, not just by a few steps, by leaps. We need something like that. So I wish that Suez Canal can be one of the major income, or somebody can tell us, no, you cannot. Okay, then we will, nobody can say that.
Of course. Tourism, Dr. Hilal, is also, has seen a good 2025. I mean, 18 plus million tourists, and we are looking for 30 million by the year 2030. The Grand Egyptian Museum has been opened, that biggest cultural city in the world, really beautiful inauguration in a landmark event that Egypt hosted. Egypt is the country of peace, and we had the Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Conference here in 2025, the Gaza ceasefire deal, hosting the world. So tourism, how can we pick up more on what happened in 2025?
Again, by the end of 2024, we were not expecting this progress in tourism. And again, I'm not an expert in all of this. I'm just expressing some of the discussions that we have in the economic conferences, economic forums. So I'm not an expert in tourism. I'm just repeating what I really believe out of that. To have 15 million, this is very nice. To have 20, this is okay. But are we dreaming, or we planning, or we have the capacity to reach 40 million or 60 million or more? We all have these dreams. But let us agree that we are not doing what is really necessary to reach this. And let me be very frank to you. If we go to the streets, we will not find our traffic a good one. This reflects the discipline of the country. If we go sometimes see how the regular Egyptians are dealing with the tourists, not necessarily this is the best time. So we have to educate the Egyptians first to deal nicely with the Egyptians. We should be kind to ourselves. We should be kind to all Egyptians. I know that the Egyptians are very kind.
By nature, yeah.
By nature, but sometimes some of us are doing or not.
You know, Dr. Hilal, although the dreaming about more and more from the tourism sector is really a legitimate dream. It's maybe the most legitimate of dreams, because Egypt markets itself. I mean, Egypt is history.
Yes.
So yeah. I mean, it's legitimate to think about 40 and 60 and 80 million. I mean, countries that don't have our heritage get those numbers.
How to make that? We have to educate the people. Let us just, of course, we are in the African Cup now, and the sports channels are every now, and even in the regular time. Let us assume that we are giving tourism and educating the people by some programs similar to the sports. Sports are nice,
Yeah.
fans of sports are okay, but to educate a country, it takes time. So let us start regularly by educating people. If the tourist is not satisfied about some of the bad behavior of very minor people, this will not help us in getting these 40 or 60 or 80 million.
And when you say Africa, Dr. Hilal, because in your view that Africa, we should focus more on Africa. Please expand on that point. And we are the natural gate to and from Africa, but please expand on how we can really make use of this golden gate.
What happened last week? The dam of Julius Nyerere, I don't remember the exact name,
Yeah.
starts to run.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of the very big landmark of 2025. Why I'm saying that? This proved to the African countries that Egypt has the power, the knowledge to get them developed without any colonial method of thinking. So I believe that if the Egyptian industry and the Egyptian entrepreneur business people, we have a very big number of them, started to go to African countries in a very big industry to be done in their countries. Not necessarily we are just thinking about export. Export is nice, but the African countries, if they feel and if they found out that Egypt can support to develop their industry, Egypt will make benefit out of that, and the African countries will make benefit of that. Let us go after, beside the dam, if we are thinking to cultivate about 5 million acres in different African countries. Can we do that? For sure we can do that. And this will develop the countries and will make a lot of benefit to Egypt. We cannot have these 5 million acres cultivated in Egypt due to the water problem. But if we invest and cooperate in these African countries, we can do that. If we are thinking about making some of high-tech industry in pharma, in food, in beverage in these countries, then these countries will welcome us more and support us politically and economically.
Well, I'm very happy, Dr. Hilal, that you're talking about Africa, and much of our viewership outside of Egypt comes from our beautiful continent. I'm also glad that you mentioned the African Cup of Nations. We wish all, of course, the success to our national team and to Morocco hosting this great event. Morocco, who made Africa proud in the World Cup and is now making it proud in hosting this event. Of course, Egypt will apply, by the way, for the hosting of the 2028 African Cup of Nations here. And all good luck to every team. Again, this is our continent, this is our beautiful continent. We always share one destiny. I mean, Egypt and I'm not going to say Egypt and Africa, but Egypt, which is a part of Africa. So I'm glad that you're mentioning this. And on that point and on that note, we will end it here because we ran out of time. We thank you very much, Dr. Amr Hilal, the former member of the National Drug Committee here in Egypt, the professor of pharmacy and the former lecturer at Cairo University. It's been a great pleasure having you with us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all Egypt and all African and all the human being. Wish 2026 will be much better than before.
God willing. Thank you very much, Dr. Hilal. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching us. Happy 2026, which will be in just over an hour and 5 or 6 minutes from now. Happy New Year, Africa. And a Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for watching.